Hey, there we go. Hey, what's up? What's up, Adam? What's up, DK? Oh, let me actually show myself. There we go. What's up, fellas? How we living? If you don't mind, I'm just gonna like indulge. Don't give a shit. Spider-Man fans. To the new Ultimate Spider-Man isn't Spider-Man. Well, that's kind of the point of it. That's why I fuck with it. It's kind of interesting that like you got like a new Spider-Man that's like, I guess we're just like jumping right into it. Yeah, asking me about like, oh yeah, all right. So I'm not gonna spoil it because Adam, I don't think has read it. Wait, let me see. What do you think of the new Ultimate Spider-Man book? Oh, my brain says this doesn't feel like a Hickman book. Like that's what my brain says. My brain says this feels like a Hickman book, but it also doesn't feel like a Hickman book. But my heart says, holy shit, this is the most I've been excited to read Spider-Man forever. What's up, Tevya? How you doing, buddy? Oh, by the way, I got the Ben Riley. I got me some Ben Riley variant cover. Some coverage. This is like still hands down my favorite Spider-Man costume. This is like the best Spider-Man redesign ever. Was this John Romita Jr. who came up with this? My man's like really cooked with this. This is like fantastic. But great first issue. Marco Shishetto did an amazing job. Actually, let me see who the colorist was, because the colorist did an amazing job as well. Corey Petit. Oh, sweet. Wait, no, that's the letterer. Matthew Wilson. Oh, fucking retarded. Matthew Wilson is the colorist. Yeah, Matthew Wilson really cooked here. I mean, like, I think Matthew Wilson also does the colors for Daredevil. And just, oh Christ, look. Marco Shishetto's MJ is just like superb. Oh my god. This book's so good. One minor complaint. They didn't have the balls to give Harry Osborn his white man waves. No one does the white man waves. Come on, I've seen white people with those waves. Come on, do it. Somebody, please. But still, I don't know. That's just, I don't know, me being silly and nitpicky. But I absolutely love this first issue. I've seen some people kind of complain that it sort of like drags a bit, and that it's sort of slow and it feels very setup-y. But I don't know. To those complaints, do you guys remember the first 4 issues of Bendis and Bagley's Ultimate Spider-Man? Like, Peter Parker doesn't even put the costume. He doesn't get his powers until like issue 3. He doesn't put the costume on until like issue 4. Uncle Ben doesn't die until issue 5. No, 6. It takes 6 issues for Spider-Man to become a Spider-Man in that like first Ultimate Spider-Man run. So like, I don't know. Peter just automatically suiting up in issue 1 here. I pretty good pace, you know. It was 4 issues to get Peter into that costume, which he didn't have the lines yet either. I still love the first arc of Amazing Spider-Man. I love the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man a lot. I think it's paced really well. This is paced very different. But we're also seeing like we're seeing Peter Parker in like 2 very different stages of his life. And I think the interesting crux of this Ultimate Spider-Man redux or reboot or whatever you want to call it, this is a man who feels like he's been like missing an appendage for like 20 years, and he's just like aching to be Spider-Man. I think that's a very interesting take. Like, this is a Spider-Man who doesn't need the power responsibility lesson. Like, he just wants to be Spider-Man. I think that's very fascinating. And I'm interested to see how that affects his family dynamic. Like, Peter Parker having this urge to, put on a gimp suit and fight crime. Like, how does MJ feel about that? How do his kids feel about that? How does Uncle Ben feel about that? That's another thing that got me too with this issue. Like, Uncle Ben is he's alive, and he's oh shit, sorry, spoilers. But this is a safe space here. We all read it. We all read it. Okay, we all read it. I'm just gonna speak as if we've all read it, and if we haven't read it, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna talk about this book. But yeah, I think the dynamic between Peter and Uncle Ben is gonna be potentially really fascinating. You have an Uncle Ben here who was a newsman. It's a very different take on Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben's usually more of like a blue collar kind of guy. Like I think his original 616 profession was he built bridges. I don't know the actual I don't know the name of that profession. I sit here and say as I'm in front of a fucking supercomputer that can tell me anything I want to know if I just type keywords into it. Let me see. Alright. Bridge builder name. What's that called? I don't know. But yeah, he like worked in construction, basically. And that's like a very different, that's a different career choice than like, being a reporter, being a journalist. And he's a very different Uncle Ben too. This Ben feels a little more jaded. This Uncle Ben feels like a bit more of a hard ass. So I'm very fascinated to see how Ben sort of feels about the direction that Peter's life is gonna head into in the near future. We saw that like teaser image for the cover of issue number 4, where it looks like the Daily Bugle is doing editorials on Spider-Man. I'm fascinated to know if like Uncle Ben is gonna be this universe's version of J. Jonah Jameson, essentially. No, this is a really good first issue. Love the Kingpin setup. I also thought it was like a cute Easter egg. It might not be an Easter egg, it might just be reaching, but it looked like the Kingpin's bodyguard in this. He looks strangely reminiscent to Brian Michael Bendis. Where is he? This guy. You cannot look at this man and tell me that's not Brian Michael Bendis. He looks exactly like him. It's hilarious. And then you have like the Green Goblin, who basically looks like Insomniac's Green Goblin, or what? Well, like I would imagine Insomniac's Green Goblin to look like. He's like a hero, kind of. He's like taking on the Kingpin. I think that's fascinating. And he has I keep throwing this book behind me. I should just keep it in front of me because I'm using it as a reference so much. If you look closely on his shoulder there, you probably can't see it from here. But if you look at the issue yourself, you'll notice that on his shoulder it says Osborn Stark. So he's literally wearing Stark Tech armor. I mean, I covered that in my preview video, or not preview, but like the video I made talking about how maybe we shouldn't hype this up to oblivion because it's probably not going to live up to expectation. I say as I'm hyping this book up beyond expectation. But Yeah, there's just a lot of really cool setup stuff here. I'm just really fascinated to know like where all this goes. There's a lot of really cool dominoes that are set up in this issue. I'm fascinated to see how they fall. Yeah, we also got to see Matt Murdock, who is a priest in this. And despite this being a new universe where everything's different, he's still blind. So I guess Reed Richards and Tony Stark got to him too at some point. But what can I say, man? This comic is dope. I think this little like symbiote reference ball there that gives Peter his suit, which is a pretty cool Easter egg to the or not Easter egg, but like a cool like reference to Secret Wars. I think that's a reference to Secret Wars. I don't know, but that little stealth suit that Tony Stark gives him, I think that is how we're going to get multiple Spider-Man costumes. Because remember that like teaser trailer that Marvel dropped for this first issue? It ends with he's doing this pose, but the costume changes. Like you get the classic costume, then you get the Ben Reilly costume, then you get the symbiote costume, then you get Spider-Man 2099. I feel like that like weird sort of goopy stealth suit is going to be like a type of nanotech suit that gives Peter the ability to change his appearance. I think that's what's gonna happen there. Nonetheless, really good first issue, really strong first issue. I am fascinated to see where this all goes. Yeah, and again, doesn't feel like a Hickman book. Like this doesn't feel like a modern Hickman book. I should probably stress that. Because Hickman from Avengers onward, that's when you start getting all the charts and stuff. Because he starts doing some of the charts in like Avengers, I think it's like New Avengers. When they start doing all the incursion stuff. And then he starts doing more charts in East of West, which he starts doing around the time Avengers is like winding down. And then like Decorum is just nothing but charts. That comic is like 90% charts. And then you get X-Men, of course, that's like also 90% charts. So it's interesting that this is literally just a comic. I don't know. I think that's fascinating. So it's distinctly not contemporary Hickman. He's doing something very different, and I fuck with it. Your boy fucks with it. I fuck with it heavy. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just been like babbling on. Let me see what y'all got to say. Love No Ultra Spider-Man. Me too. Is everything I ever wanted? Same here. New Ultimate Goblin. Harry Osborn pissed at the Ultimates. I could see that. And I'd have to reread Ultimate Universe again. But are the Ultimate? So are they going to be called the Ultimates, or are they going to be called the Avengers? Because again, this isn't. The weird thing about this new Ultimate Universe is that it's not like a reimagining of the Marvel Universe in the same way that the original Ultimate Universe was, like a from the ground up reimagining of, you know, the Marvel Universe. This is more like Marvel's Flashpoint in a way. Like, you know, like the like Flashpoint happens and then Barry Allen creates a whole new universe where, you know, just little things here and there are different, but those like little changes turn into like big changes, and that's how you get like Thomas Wayne as Batman, and Cyborg is essentially the Superman of that universe and all that. That's essentially what's going on here. And I don't know, I lost my train of thought. But oh yeah, Ultimates. But yeah, no, I wonder if we're gonna see like this universe's take on the Avengers be more like the Ultimates, or if they're gonna be more like more in line with like the classic Avengers. That's something that I think we're gonna have to like wait and see for like the wider Ultimate Universe line coming out. Because the thing after this is like Black Panther and Peace from Moko's doing like an X-Men book, and that looks also really interesting. So yeah, I'm thoroughly sold on this new Ultimate Universe. I think it's really interesting. But yeah, greatest uncle been alive again. Yeah, he's like a crotchety old like fogey. But he's principled. You know, he has the whole thing where like he and Jonah are like best friends. That's an interesting dynamic too. Like, you know, Uncle Ben is more or less the Ben Urich of this new Ultimate Universe. Okay. Alright. Also sort of proves my point. Peter and MJ having married kids. He's scared to move forward. Yeah, I mean, kind of, I guess. But, like, this is a Peter who's, like, also... We're starting his journey as an adult, not starting his journey as a kid. That's gonna, like, wreak havoc on the family dynamic. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. I also know that Hickman just doesn't usually write romance. Like, he has romance in his comics. I mean, East to West, like, the whole thing is that, he's, like, Death is looking for his wife, and they have a son, and they're trying to find their son, who's, like, the beast of the apocalypse, but it's not melodramatic in the way that, like, Spider-Man is traditionally melodramatic. And I don't see Hickman going to that, like, melodramatic place, because he's not, like, inherently a melodramatic writer. He's more of, like, he's a very clinical writer. He's a very calculated writer. So putting him on, like, the quintessential, like, comic book melodrama, that's a choice. But it's one that I'm anxiously awaiting to see how it plays out. Best comic art? Dude, yeah, it's by a mile. Marco Cicchetto is, like, he's unmatched. This man he's just built different. The worst thing that can happen in this run is reveal that there's a zoom out shot, and reveal that in the end it's just Mephisto reading this comic book and tells the readers keep hoping. That's what would happen if, like, the editorial staff of the main 616 line got their hands on this book, probably. Just to spite readers. Been to 6-7 issues, yeah. But it was paced very well. I can't imagine trying to read that today. Or, like, even at the time, just in real time, trying to read Ultimate Spider-Man. What that would have been like. Because I jumped onto that book in, like, 2004 or 5 or something like that. Like the Ultimate collections have already started coming out, and I've bought the first. I get the first 3 Ultimate collections, which I still have to this day, miraculously. Volume 2 is in rough shape. Those pages are I'm gonna have to replace that one at some point, but yeah, that book it's paced like a Netflix show. Like Bendis was doing the Netflix pitch style of storytelling in comics like 15 years before anyone else started doing it. So I don't know. I can see some people at the time going like, you need like 5 issues to kill off Uncle Ben and basically retell the first 2 pages of Amazing Fantasy 15. What are you doing? But I grew up with it, so I have a bias towards it. I like it. But I also read it in trade, and that's like it's a very different like reading style. I told you what I'm doing. I'm gonna scope out the reaction from the streets. You know, I feel like part of this book's success and like what we're seeing right now and what we're probably gonna see in the next couple of months is there is a lot of spite enjoyment. Like a lot of people are jumping into this book and accepting it with open arms because they're reading it to spite Amazing Spider-Man. There's a little bit of that going on. There is. So that's definitely playing a big role in this book's success. I mean, it's number 1 on like the Amazon periodicals lists, which is amazing. When was the last time a comic did that? Like, holy crap. But yeah, we'll double back in like December and we'll see if you were right. So what you're saying is by missing his appendage, he's missing something in the nether regions. Well, the new suit does look a little tight, so I assume that it's going to ride up the crotch a little bit. Hickman Spider-Man equals Miracle Man vibes. It does. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh man, that's a good catch. That's a really good catch. Damn, right on. If I had like a drink here, I'd cheers you. That's a good one. Supreme says the older I get. DK says it felt very classic to me. Interesting. I didn't get a classical feel from this. Maybe like classic Hickman, like Shield era Hickman. But this Hickman on Spider-Man, by default of him being Hickman, doesn't feel like classic Spider-Man to me. But I'm still down to see where it goes. Supreme says the older I get, I wonder why I continue to get invested in superheroes. None of these characters will have a definitive ending, and without that, major deaths in characters' progress will inevitably get undone. That's true. But for me, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Like I know that Batman is not going to have a definitive ending. On the laundry. But I know that Bruce Wayne is not going to have a definitive ending. I know that DC is going to continue to publish Batman comics where Bruce Wayne is front and center. That said, Batman dying at the hands of Darkseid while shooting Darkseid with a meta gun that is the blueprint for the gun that killed his parents and every gun ever crafted in the creation of mankind. Batman shooting evil with a gun. That is his last act. That headcanon. It's done. Batman's done after that. You don't need Batman after that. It's done. I can choose to just ignore the other stuff, or just, I don't know. That's just the way comics are, though. Like I feel like it's at a certain point, it's kind of like if you're a heterosexual male and you are in the dating market, there are a lot of complaints that you have about like the opposite sex, like, you know, oh, women do this, women do that, but you still like women, right? Same deal. Comics are gonna comic, I guess, and it's gonna annoy me, but it's not gonna make me love them any less. Just what it is, It comes with the territory. Toby says, question, do you think this new Ultimate Spider-Man series will last until issue 100? Hell no. It'd be cool if it did, but I highly doubt it. I haven't read it. Your dreads are crisp. My dreads? Yeah. Actually, I need to, like, wash them again. Yeah. What's up, Tristan? How you doing, buddy? Oh, I just I peeped your profile picture. That's dope. Just read Ultimate Spider-Man #1. It's awesome. Can't wait to see what Hickman comes up with next. Yeah. Shit, I feel really bad. I'm sorry, Adam. Just spoiled this whole fucking book for Adam. Oh, shit. Sorry, man. I got excited. New Ultimate X-Men Professor X with a mohawk. That'd be cool. Given the setup of Ultimate Spider-Man, it'd be interesting to see if Professor X has to get crippled by Tony Stark and Reed Richards. Because that's essentially what they're going around the Marvel Universe doing. They're like, hey, we gotta make this superhero their most iconic self. How are Marvel heroes born? Tragedy. The most traumatic experience a human being can endure. That. Oh, man. It's gonna be a terrible shame when they finally get to Frank Castle. Question. You think Ultimate Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and his family will team up? I don't see Peter Parker. I don't see Peter's family doing that. I see Peter doing that, but I don't see his family doing that at all. I don't think this is gonna be a renew your vows kind of book. That's not the tone I got from this at all. I'd be surprised if it does go that direction, but I highly doubt it. Supreme Omega says, and then that being jaded of a superhero, it goes into my larger feeling of the franchise fatigue. Does everything need a sequel, a prequel, spin-off, respond to a multimedia franchise? It doesn't. But something that I've started to do is I just ignore the things that just don't interest me. That really helps. Just tune it out, ignore it, and you're fine. Key example, the Suicide Squad game coming out. Everything that drops about that game, I'm just like, no. Nope. No, looks bad. Nope, don't care. So, like, I don't know, I'm fine, you know? just keep your head out. Keep your eyes out. Keep your head out. Keep your eyes out for things that do look cool to you, and just kind of ignore the stuff that doesn't look cool to you. You know, like I haven't really like followed the MCU in forever, and I don't feel the thing that a lot of people on YouTube, or at least on my YouTube feed, are feeling, where they're like, the MCU's down it again. They got another travesty on their hands, and how will Marvel cope? I just don't feel like watching the. Then don't watch it. Don't watch it. Read comics. Do literally anything else. Like, you don't have to inundate yourself with stuff you don't like. That's my thing. Also, how do you think Ultimate Iron Man will factor into Ultimate Peter Parker Spider-Man story? I think we've seen the extent of Ultimate Iron Man. I think we have. I don't know. The guy with the glasses. Well, it's an eye patch. That I think that's like a call. I think that character is like a callback to Bendis. Because he more or less started the Ultimate Universe line, so I feel like that might be an Easter egg to Bendis. Plus Bendis is like a big Kingpin guy, so no idea. Uncle Ben is the Green Goblin. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Then you have like Sue Storm is like the Ultimate Universe mastermind. Who else? You get Sam Wilson as the Ultimate Universe Red Skull. No, that'd be great. Let's see. Love the appearance of Father Matt Murdock. Yeah, he's a priest in both this, as well as the main 616 book. I'm sure that's a complete coincidence, but still cool to see. Also sucks that he's blind in both universes. He just can't escape that accident. Yeah, it probably is Ultimate Harry Osborn. Best modern comic in what feels like a year. I thought it was pretty fun. Most of it's just a catharsis for reading Spider-Man, but yeah. What if symbiotes and the spider and part of his powers? Well, one of the variant covers is Peter spinning a web with the back of his hand. So maybe I don't know. Question: do you think Ultimate Spider-Man will outsell the main Amazing Spider-Man book? I mean, so far it already has. At least the first issue has. But you also have to factor in like speculators and scalpers. So there's a lot of people that are like buying 4 and 5 copies of the first issue. That generally happens with like books that have a lot of popularity behind them. What you really have to wait around for is issue 3. If sales are still strong by issue 3, that's how you know you have a successful book. Which I think you'll see a drop off, but you won't see like a massive drop off. Like with Watchmen, we're at a point now where Watchmen babies in V for Vacation is probably inevitable. I bet DC has a script for that. Probably. I mean, they basically did Watchmen babies with Doomsday Clock, so. But I don't know. It's one of those weird things where, well, on the one hand, I feel really bad for Alan Moore because, DC is like screwing him over, like, over the shoulder. They're fucking him over the shoulder with Watchmen. But I don't know. a lot of the stuff that's come out that ties into the Watchmen universe has been pretty cool. You know, I like the Darwin Cook Minutemen miniseries. That was really good. I also liked the J. Michael Straczynski Dr. Manhattan miniseries. That was great. The Night Owl miniseries was pretty good too. The Ozymandias miniseries by I think it was Jacques, not Jacques. Christ, what, I can't think of his name. He did all the Dark Tower comics. Jay Lee. Jay Lee did that Ozymandias book. That was also really good. So, there's a lot of stuff that ties into the Watchmen universe that I think is not bad, actually. So, I don't know. I get the joke of, like, Watchmen babies and, like, not everything needs a sequel or prequel, but I don't know. Doomsday Clock aside, and, like, one or two of the before Watchmen comics, a lot of the Watchmen stuff's been pretty good. I don't know. I've liked it at least. The Avenging Ultimates. Oh, that's have Hank Pym wearing his like classic 616 outfit, pimp smacking Janet Van Dyne like, bitch, this chicken is cold. Oh man, I wonder if this is a universe where that doesn't happen. Hank Pym gets to be the hero for once. New Ultimate Universe is basically an alternate history like Flashpoint. Yeah, it is. I like the fake out of thinking JJJ was usually yelling at Peter, but it was actually Uncle Ben. Yeah. That's gotta be a really interesting dynamic moving forward. Question: do you think Ultimate Peter Parker, Spider-Man and his kids, Mayday Parker and Richard Parker, have spider powers in the future? Probably not, because it looks like the spider that is the conduit for Peter's powers. It bites him as he's like a 35-year-old man. So his kids don't have that. They don't got them radioactive spider juices pumping through their veins. This is a Mary Jane Watson who wasn't pumped full of radioactive spider fluid. So those kids ain't got no powers. On Spider-Man, when did Marvel develop a fear of aging Peter Parker too much? Because I know it started before the marriage. Some point out Gwen's death is the original sin. Well, I know there are letters pages in the 60s where people are like, why is Peter Parker graduating high school? This is dumb. The point is that he's a high school kid. What, you can't have him go to college. Those are letters pages that fans submitted in like 1965 or 6 or whenever Peter Parker graduated high school. But there's always been that pushback against Peter Parker growing up. So it just sucks now that the people in charge have that mentality, but it's always been there. And you see it in some of the letters pages in like later issues as well. After Peter graduates college in like the mid-70s, and then after Peter he oh man, what position did he have? Fuck, I'm trying to think. He like it's before he gets married, and it's not when he becomes a TA. I think it's when he proposes to MJ. That's when everyone's like, he's getting too old, blah, blah, blah. So that's always just been there. People are always like that. see. Question: do you think Marvel seeing Ultimate Spider-Man being a complete success and beating Amazing Spider-Man in sales will convince Marvel? Nope. Nope. It's not gonna happen. I keep telling you, Tubby, it's not gonna happen. It really isn't. What's up, John? Let's see. Personally, I'm checking out the Suicide Squad game for the story. Good luck with that, pal. Do you believe shit. Where'd it go? Damn. Oh well, anyways. Oh, there we go. Do you believe Ultimate Spider? Oh, I read that one. Do you blame the Hush storyline for the reason why Jason got revived? Because I keep looking at the Clayface tease, and I feel like that was that's what convinced DC to do it. Yeah, I could definitely see Hush being sort of the original sin, if you will, of Jason's resurrection. Which, by the way, I don't like Hush. I think the comic is awful. I think you do fix a lot of its problems if you have Hush be Jason. I think you fix a lot of problems with that story if you just make Jason Hush. But neither here nor there. Yeah, you know, I feel like at that point they were gonna bring him back. The comedian one was bad. I didn't read the comedian one. Didn't Stan Lee want Peter Parker to grow up and move forward, not holding him back? When it comes to anything Stan Lee said, it's hard to actually like hold true to it, because Stan Lee was the type of guy to just say things. Even if they weren't like completely true, he'd just say things. I mean, that's like part of the reason why Marvel's so successful now and has like the legacy that it has. Literally, you just have Stan saying like, oh, he'd walk up to like retailers and say, we are the #1 blah blah blah, and because we have red covers and the competition doesn't do red covers, and that's why you should buy our books because we're #1. He's going off of nothing, but he's pulling those numbers out of his ass. But it caught on, and it worked. Stan Lee's big thing is he's like the ultimate con man, and it's so perfect. He was a perfect pitchman. But I don't know if Stan Lee in an interview said Peter Parker should have always grown up and whatever. I don't know. He's probably talking out of his ass. He's making shit up like on the spot. That's what he's doing. Supreme says, after the initial backlash that Gwen's death caused, I get the feeling that by the 70s they didn't want to rock the boat too much with Spidey. I mean, it kind of feels like it a little bit. The 70s is kind of a lull period for that character. I mean, that's like not a popular opinion to have. I know a lot of people love 70s Spider-Man. I think the 60s are great, and then the 70s are meh. And the 80s are also great, and the 90s are Hit or miss. But they never miss, huh? 2000s, great. 2010s, but then we're in the 2020. We're in the 2020s now, baby. So things should be looking up. Things should be looking up. They should. They should be looking up. But what comics did you read that hit you in a place that make you cry? What comics make me cry? Sorry, I'm looking at my bookshelves, just trying to get ideas. Well, Grant Morrison's Batman, the end of that run with Batman Incorporated. That's a emotional sort of like kind of book for me. I know, killing kids just fucks with me, man. That especially the older I get, like the more that like really kind of like digs a claw in your chest. Let's see. You know what? Ultimate Fallout. Particularly the Spider-Man moments. Those get me emotionally too. Especially the bit where Aunt May and Gwen Stacy are walking to the cathedral where they're having, Peter's funeral, and like everyone in New York's going crazy. Everyone wants to be there, and you have this like one little girl stop Aunt May, and she's like, "Are you Spider-Man's mom?" And then Aunt May's like, "Well, no, I'm not his mom, but I I was his aunt." And she's like, "Well, you made breakfast like your mom, and you tucked him in like your mom," and she's like, "Spider-Man saved me when I was little, so I didn't die." And she's like a gnarly like burn scar on her face. That's a really touching moment. That really gets me. So that's a really touching one. You know what? Big Game also got me kind of emotionally too. By Mark Miller and Pepe Larraz. That one got me too. It's like the culmination of everything that I loved as like an edgy teenager. Well into like being like an edgy adult. Like seeing like Dave Lazuski sort of finally hit that, like he gets to live out that super powered fantasy of, he gets to be the hero, and like he gets to help people as like the superhero they loved, as like the same kind of hero that he idolized as a kid reading comics. That definitely got to me when reading that comic. I know there's others, man, like shit. Hmm. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Um, but I know there are a lot of others. There are plenty of others. They're just not coming to me right now. But what comics did you read this week? Well, I already talked about the first one I read this week. I read Ultimate Spider-Man #1. But I also picked up Transformers issue #4. This book continues to be great. This is by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. The art in this is just like absolutely god tier. Um, there's always pro wrestling moves in this book, which is amazing too. I especially like Jazz. Actually, yeah, I'm on the page. The part where Jazz shows up and then he rocks. This man rocks Starscream with a shoddy and then hits Soundwave with the RKO. Like, this book is just everything that I want from a Transformers comic book. It's absurd. It's got like robots performing pro wrestling moves on each other. It's got classic 80s and 90s era anime ultra robot violence in it. Every 5 pages I hear the "You got the touch." Like that song plays in my head just every couple pages, and this is so good. Continues to be one of my favorites. I'm absolutely in love with it. Bringing back like all my childhood memories of over obsessing over Transformers, and reading the IDW Transformers comics. The way the Decepticons are also played in this book are like, they're extremely vicious. There's a bit here where like Starscream and Soundwave are like, they need repairs, so they just tear apart like one of the other Decepticons and use his body for parts. Like, fuck. That's so dark. But it's so cool. It's so metal. Oh man. This is like definitely a Daniel Warren Johnson comic. And I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy. Just like the way he also like draws the Transformers like shifting. It feels very clunky. Wow, I'm into it. I absolutely adore this comic. 10 out of 10. And I also picked up Zorro, Man of the Dead, by Sean Gordon Murphy and who's the colorist in this one? Simon Go, or maybe Simon Go's the letterer. I don't know. I wonder if Sean Murphy letters his own work. No, he doesn't. DC Hopkins did the lettering here. Interesting. This one, I think, so far, visually, like in terms of the art, probably like one of the best like Sean Murphy outings. Storytelling, like the writing is, okay. We'll see where it goes. But I love Zorro. I love Zorro as a kid, and I love Sean Gordon Murphy. So, Sean Murphy doing a Zorro book, I'm down. I'm excited to see where it goes. I like the premise a lot. Basically, this kid watches his father, who is a Zorro actor, get murdered by a cartel boss, and then he grows up just completely damaged. His like the trauma of that of that kind of event just shifts his entire personality to the point where he sees himself as Don Diego de la Vega, and he is going to battle the the cartel conquistadors. It's a really it's a really like fun premise. And again, I'm super down to see some more Sean Murphy art as he tackles Zorro. This is a character who like he was born to draw. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see where the rest of this book goes. You know what it kind of reminds me of? I'm not sure if you guys like ever got into this or like if you remember this at all, but there was a Cyberpunk Zorro fan film trailer that came out a couple years ago. I think it was like one of those crowdfunding things that just didn't go through ultimately, but Um, that's the vibe I get from this. It's like kind of cyberpunk Zorro. I'm with it. I'm down. I fucked with it. Um, and I also read Volume 3 of Hickman's Avengers, which is in my backpack still. I'm just too lazy to go over there and get it. That means I finally finished Infinity. Thank Christ, because that was just boring. So there's that. So I read the most boring Hickman book and the most exciting Hickman book in the span of like 10 hours. So it's the duality of man, I suppose. But I'm finally on volume 4, and this is like the penultimate volume before you get to Secret Wars. So I'm excited to see that come to fruition. Let's see. But yeah, those are the comics I read this week. I think that's a repeat of the question you already asked, Devia. Which I said no, they're not going to do that. Personally, if it meant one more day is no longer a factor, we can start fresh in the Ultimate. That's just not going to happen. Marvel's not going to do that. Marvel saw how that worked out for DC after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it hasn't. DC's continuity is just one big clusterfuck of a dumpster fire, so they're not going to do that. It'd be cool if they did that, because I like the Ultimate Universe, like the original Ultimate Universe. I would have been fine if that was just the main universe in general. Would have been cool, but no, it's not going to happen. It would have been a bad idea, and it would definitely be a bad idea in this case too. So no, it's not going to happen. Like not even Marvel's that like boneheaded to do that. Let's see. Toby says, Omega says, on Infinite Crisis, do you see Barry Allen helping out Bart with the Speed Force scene as the first seeds of him attempting to bring back Barry? In hindsight, yes, but at the time, I didn't see it that way. At the time, my thinking was the Speed Force is a cosmic entity that exists outside of space and time. So Barry in death is bound to the Speed Force, as is Johnny Quick and like everyone else who's stuck in the Speed Force. So like that's how I saw it, because that's sort of the way that like the Speed Force was approached up until the New 52, at least, where the Speed Force is just the negative zone, I guess. But before then, like the Speed Force kind of felt like it's this weird sort of like dimension of just pure power, where if you're just there, you're stuck there. There's no way getting out. Even if you do like sort of break free, it's temporary. Like you're still stuck there. Like you become pure speed. That's the way it was always illustrated, so I always kind of took it that way. But yeah, in hindsight, maybe that was like DC's first steps of bringing Barry back from the dead. Alfred's been dead for a long time. Yeah, actually, DC's kind of been sticking on that for a while. I'm surprised they haven't doubled back on that one. I think this might be the longest time Alfred stayed dead in the DC universe. Yeah, the Transformers comic is amazing. It's really good. Also, in Gwen's death, another reason why she was killed off is that Conway felt she had gotten too close with Peter. Could have led to marriage. Killing her off was a bit of a reset to singlehood. Holy shit, if that's true, that's dark, and it's hilarious. This boy is becoming too much of a man. Kill off his girlfriend. Holy fuck. That's unbelievably bleak. That's funny, but just... Also, I don't know. Also feels counterintuitive. Killing off his girlfriend at the hands of his best friend's supervillain father made that character grow up, if anything else. It forced him into like a new stage of adulthood. So I don't know. Maybe the intention was to like retrograde the character, but it didn't work. If anything, he did the opposite. On my comic read, I've been reading From Hell by Alan Moore. That's a good one, I'm told. The 90s and early 2000s are pretty underrated period for Moore. No, they absolutely are. That's when Top 10 came out. I've talked about that already. I like that book a lot. He also did Tom Strong in that era, which I haven't read, but I've read Terra Obscura, which is a spin-off of Alan Moore's Tom Strong. And I like Terra Obscura quite a bit. And he also did a bunch of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen books in that era too, which I do have now. I haven't read them, but I do have them, so I'm gonna check them out at some point. But he also does Supreme, and I thought Supreme was really fun too. It is sort of like a bitter sort of thumbing the nose at John Byrne because he ruined Superman, but a lot of those British guys feel that way about post-crisis Superman. They don't like it. They're like, you made Superman not Jesus. I hate it. But no, I completely agree. I think the 90s and 2000s is like a very underrated period for Alan Moore. Zeb Wells Spider-Man is a failure. I mean, critically, yeah, but like, the book still sells. It still sells a lot. Like, until it stops selling, it's not gonna be a failure. I think it made like 3 issues of the Zeb Wells run made it on like the 2023 top 10 selling comics list. So it is by no means a commercial failure. One Flash Rebirth. I wonder why you like Barry creating the Speed Force retcon. Because most fans see it as DC throwing Wally and the other Speedsters under the bus just to prop up Barry. I like it in a weird sort of... The Speed Force is... It is a construct that exists beyond three-dimensional comprehension, and Barry is like the generator for it. So even though Wally and Max Mercury and like Jay Garrick, Bart Allen, even though they like had they were like the faces of like the Flash throughout the 90s and early 2000s, it still made Barry feel like an instrumental part of the Flash family, even though he wasn't there. I like that, so that's why I like it. I mean, I also get where other Flash fans are coming from, where they're like they don't like it, but I don't know. I'm not among that group. I like it. Did you notice the amount of story points in Hickman's Infinity event? They are in the Infinity War movie. Yeah, and like all the stuff like the also the Black Order. Yeah, it is the Black Order, right? I mean, it's kind of in the Infinity War movie, but like, it's so weird. So, I remember when Infinity War came out, there were a lot of people who were kind of like Hickman, like purist fans who were like, the Black Order is so cool, and they were shafted in the movie. You did barely see anything with them. They were so watered down. Blah blah blah. After reading Infinity, I like kind of see that, but like only kind of. It sucks that the movie just like reduces them to being generic, archetypal, like pawns, but it's not like they play that big of a role in Infinity either. Like they play a big role in Infinity, but like they all get killed off. And like I don't know, like, they have like the illusion of cool backstories and like interesting character traits, I guess, but like I'm not missing them after they die. Like I don't give a shit. And I still feel like movie Thanos is just not Thanos, but you know that's neither here nor there, I guess. John Ty says, on my comic reading, since I finished reading the first volume of Golden Age Superman stories, I started reading Grant Morrison's Action Comics run. Oh, nice. That's a really good one, too. I love Grant Morrison's Action Comics. Tevi says, question, do you believe Ultimate Marvel being a success will force Marvel Comics to destroy the Ultimate Marvel Universe similar to what they did with the main Marvel Universe? Wait, what? Do you believe Ultimate Marvel being a success will once again cause Marvel Comics to destroy the Ultimate Well, Marvel destroyed the Ultimate Universe because it kind of went off the rails, and it felt like a no-holds-barred kind of thing where it didn't matter if you killed it off. So that's why the Ultimate Universe got like axed. The I don't know. It's too early to say about the new Ultimate Universe. I can't say. Like we literally only have like we are. Let's see, Ultimate Invasion 1 through 4, Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man. We are 6 issues into this new Ultimate Universe. I can't say anything for certain. I don't know. Still fresh. Too fresh for me to judge. Supreme says, in contrast to Wally and the other speedsters in the Didio era, it's interesting Kyle and the other human GLs were still allowed to shine, because Kyle started as more of a divisive legacy hero than Wally. That's true. But the internet didn't exist back then. So I don't know, I guess editors still had balls. It was supposed to stay the Ultimate Universe. Oh, okay. After finishing my reread of Worson's Action Comics run, the next two runs I want to read are Tom Taylor's John Kent Superman. Good luck with that, man. And Greg Rucka's Lois Lane Maxi. Also, good luck with that. I probably would have read the Tom Taylor Superman book first before reading Morrison, personally, but you know, do your thing. I will say quick, just I'll throw out a disclaimer. And don't let this negatively color the way you read this book, but the Lois Lane comic is really good. It does suffer from feeling like it has to tie into everything else that's happening in the DC universe at the time. It's sort of the reason why I put it down. Which is a shame, because it felt like everything that I wanted from it. But I feel like it's not quite Metropolis's Gotham Central, like it was sort of pitched as being. It never reaches that high. It gets really when it's really good, it's really good. But I don't think it lives up to that promise. But yeah, man, definitely check it out. The art is especially amazing in it. Supreme says on the original plan for Green Lantern Rebirth, Ethan Van Sciver in editorial wanted Kyle dead or a villain. Jesus Christ. So I'm glad Jeff Johns said no. It's ironic. Johns, who was a pre-crisis fanboy, was willing to spare Kyle. Well, shit, props to Jeff Johns for not ruining that character. Good lord. Golden Age Clark Kent could have been an incel with how much Golden Age Lois Lane hates him. I mean, he essentially is. There's a panel I love where Lois and Clark go on a date to the movies, and Clark in his internal monologue is like, "Oh my God, she's touching my hand." I can't believe she's touching my hand. No, it's really good. I feel like you could do a lot with that dynamic now. I highly doubt DC would ever take advantage of it, but you could definitely do a lot with that now. Oh, good night, Tevya. But yeah, dude. I know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not putting too much stake in it. But I am excited to see what. Not excited. I'm fascinated. There's a better way of putting it. I'm fascinated to see what Superman Legacy shapes up to be. Because I know that James Gunn is a really big Grant Morrison Superman fan. And he has cited how much he likes the New 52 Action Comics run by Grant Morrison. So I'm interested to see if any of that makes its way into Superman Legacy. Some of that cocky, arrogant, champion of the oppressed, the S stands for socialist kind of Superman. I'm fascinated to see if that take is present in the film at all, even superficially. Supreme says, so on Flash Rebirth, it's really fair to blame Johns for Barry's resurrection. I mean, yeah, kinda, I guess. I mean, Grant Morrison's the one who brought Barry Allen back. I mean, that could have just been editorial constraints, but I mean, still. John Ty says, it's odd Clark Kent creates his own love triangle, romantic dynamic of Superman, Lois Lane, and Clark Kent. He does, and he's trolling her. It's hilarious. Dumb bitch can't see past a pair of glasses. You know what? I was among the people who loved the Zack Snyder take on Lois Lane, where she discovers that Clark is Superman before she even meets him. Because I don't know, I feel like if you want to have any sort of like journalistic like respect for Lois Lane, like take her seriously and all as a journalist, yeah, her being too dumb to see past a pair of glasses is a problem. So I was one of those people who's like, yeah, no, this is Zack Snyder's take on Lois Lane is great. But some of that's also just I don't like pre-crisis Lois Lane in general. I think she's kind of a bitch for no reason. Especially when you compare her to like Lana Lang, who is essentially what DC would model post-crisis Lois after, anyways. But I don't know. I'm a Lana Lang. I'm a pre-crisis Lana Lang stan as far as like Superman ships go. There's also something kind of cute about the girl next door thing with Superman. Like he experiences the cosmos, but he always comes back home. That's or like home catches up to him. I think that's kind of cute. But yeah. Anyways, that's kind of about it. What else did I pick up? Oh, I did pick this up. I picked up JSA: The Golden Age by James Robinson and Paul Smith. James Robinson is like critically acclaimed for writing Starman, and I think this is like I think JSA is fuck Jesus words, dude. I think Starman's on the JSA team here. Yeah, he's like right there too. I'm gonna pick those books up at some point in time. And when I do read them, I'm fascinated to see if they like tie into this at all. And how much like the Sandman Mystery Theater ties in with some of this material as well. Because I have that on order as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to read this. I'll let you know what I think about it after I don't know. I'll probably get to this like in the next week or so. But love James Robinson's New 52 Earth 2 run. No, I loved it as well. It was really good. It was a really dope, like pulpy but also cyberpunky sort of comic. I thought it was wonderful. That's another That's another New 52 book that was really good that just no one talks about. Because we have this whole history of like New 52 bad, even though like most of it was really good. But whatever. C'est la vie. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next one. I'm probably gonna try to stream tomorrow. I'm gonna like try to stream Spider-Man tomorrow. Probably, maybe. It depends on if I don't feel like crashing after work. But yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.